Hello, my name's Emma Fawcett and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Newton Abbey, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Thank you so much for joining me today on Emma's Crafty Space. In this tutorial, I am going to be showing you how to make this gorgeous little handbag, gift bag, I suppose you could use it for. It is quite substantial in size, and I have been using the Wonder of the Season Sweet DSP for it. I have done a Velcro enclosure on it, which is quite different for me. Normally I use the little magnets, but I'll just open it up and you can see it is quite a substantial bag. If you didn't want to have the sides out like that, you could push them in and make it into more of a little neat and tidy clutch. So it is quite a versatile little bag, and obviously you can do it in two different ways. So we'll just get started and hopefully you'll be able to follow along okay. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to get the most out of your cardstock, especially if you're going to be mass producing these. You want it to be as economical as it possibly can be. So you are going to lift a sheet of card. So I'm using this DSP, so I'm going to use this shaded spruce just to coincide with that. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to trim off the long side to 11 inches. Okay, now just keep this little strip because that could then be your handle. Okay, so then put it back in. So you're going to trim to 4 inches. Take this piece out but keep it to the side. And then you're going to score your long side at 4 inches. Take it out and score the other side to 4 inches. And the reason being, you want your front and back of your bag to be 4 inches square. And it doesn't matter if you lose a wee 1/8 of an inch on your base, but as long as the front and the back are 4 inches square, then it's okay. Okay, so that's your front, base and back. Now you need to trim this. This is your other piece that you had, so you're going to trim it down to 4 inches. And to put your cutter away and then move this over to 1/2 inch. Score. Bring it out and do the other side to 1/2 inch. Score again. Okay, then on your long side, score at 4 inches. And then shift it along and cut at 5.5 inches. Again, put your trimmer down to the bottom and then score at 4 inches. And that is your 2 side panels. And then this is, we'll use this as our strap. And if you cut it to 5.5 inches and score at 3/4 of an inch on either end. Okay, so hopefully I've done that slow enough so you can try and keep up with what I've done there. The beauty about YouTube is you can pause and rewind. You can go back to what you need it to be. So your DSP, I'll give you the measurements for it. It is, you need 2 sheets at 4 by 4 inches. And you need 1 at 4 inches by 3.5 inches. Okay, so that is all your pieces of card that you need at the moment. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stick our DSP onto our front and back panel of our bag. So again, I'm going to use my wet glue, my Tombow, and I'm going to use a spreader end just so that I get a nice even layer of glue on there. Okay. So marry it up. I try and get it as tight to the top as I possibly can, just so that it is really neat and tidy. At the end of the day, if it runs off down the bottom, no one's really looking at the bottom of the bag. You're kind of looking along from the mid to the top seam. So I always think it's important to get your tops and sides married up. Okay, so go to your top. With you using the Tombow, you should have that little bit of time to adjust it where you need. Get it pushed into place. run over with your bone folder just to make sure. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to one side while we sort out our side panels. So I will cut these. So what we're going to do is, if you can imagine, this is the side and this is the base. So you are going to go up here, and then you're just going to take a wee wedge out there. Okay, and a little wedge there. And it just means then if your card's running off, that'll give you a nice clean edge. So again, there, and straight up from the bottom. So I'll lay this down flat on my grid paper so that you can see the two differences in the shapes. Okay, so if you look there, I've literally went up, straight up that line and done wee wedges on either side. Okay, so I'm going to do this side now. Wedge your top. Okay, and up that line. Okay, this should be completely stuck now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish all my edges here. Just means then that you're going to have nice creased edges for whenever you're putting your bag together. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to line these up to make sure they fit. So you want your creases to run evenly all the way down from the side panels right onto your base. So I'm going to put glue down here. Now, if you don't like working with glue, you can use tear tape as well. Okay, and I'm just going to butt this up against the edge of that and just let it fall down and stick. Okay, just let it bond there, and it's the same as this side. Okay, so make sure your creases are all running in lines with each other. Put that up against it and let that fall down naturally. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the lid. Sorry, I should have mentioned you will need another piece of cardstock for your lid, and it is 4 by 4 inches, so you will need to go into another sheet of cardstock. But if you are making more of these, then that, you know, you can always use that one piece just for extra pieces for your lids. So we'll just set this to side now and we will make up our lid. So this is my 4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to stick my 4 3.5 inches piece of DSP to it. So again, don't be using lots of glue. You want to make the DSP too wet. Plus it cuts down your drying time, especially if you're in a rush and you're trying to get these made quickly. Okay, so just stick that down to it. Make sure you're flush to your edges. And okay, now this needs scored because you need to make the hinge for the enclosure. So you are going to put this in and you're going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inches. So I'm going to do 1 inch on this side because it's easier. Okay, I just find it easier to score the two together. And then, sorry, I'm just going to do it at 2 inches. As I said, I find it easier to score the two together rather than stick them and trying to make sure that they all marry up. So I'll just repeat that. We've scored at 1 inch and 2 inches. Okay, and then we are going to taper in this edge. Like that. So you're going to cut to your 1 inch score line. Okay. and I want my bag to have like a nice curved edge, so I'm going to bring out my gift bags punch board, which I know is unfortunately retired, but for me it just leaves a really nice edge to this. So I'm going to bring this line up to the start line on it, punch it, so you'll see that it's giving me that nice edge on it. Flip it over and do that again, so you can see that nice tapered round edge. Now if you don't have one of these, you could just use a corner rounder. Now it's not going to give you the tapered edge, but it will give you a nice rounded edge of some sort. And then we are going to burnish this and burnish this, and hopefully all your glue's dry by now. Okay, so just bringing my bag back on, and I'm going to stick this edge to here now. Okay. Okay, so again, make sure these edges line up, butt that up against it, nice and tight, and then lay it down. Give it a good press. Just clean off any excess glue. Give it a good press down with your bone folder just to make sure it all sticks, because this is the closure of it, so you do need it to be done really, really well. Okay, so if I just scroll this from top to bottom, then you'll see the shape we're going for. Okay, so the next thing is putting your bag together. So I am going to run a bit of glue up here. I want to run a bit of glue up here. Okay. I'm going to bring this up. Bring this to that edge. Okay, make sure it's stuck. Same with this one. Make sure your edges are nicely matched up. Okay. And get my bone folder. Run it down. Make sure. Okay, and then the same with these two edges. Bit of glue up either edge, and then bring the bag side down to it. Okay. The marry up to each other. Okay, lay it down flat, and you can use your finger if you don't have a bone folder, and just push it all in and make sure all your edges are nice and bonded with each other. Okay, so that is, you could leave it like that and have it as just like a box, but obviously you'd need to adjust your hinge top. But I am basically going to push that out. Now you can see that that's kind of automatically going into a point. If you want to soften that, lay your box onto the palm of your hand and just use your bone folder and just soften up the cardboard. Okay. Okay, and you will see that it will just go out a bit easier. Okay, so this crease has to marry up with this line now. Okay, so your handbag is going to be like that. Now what I will say to you is you can push these sides in if you don't want it to be a pokey out bag, or you can just have them like poked out. You probably get more in them if it's this way. So I'm just going to use Velcro dots for these ones just because it's quick. Normally I do prefer the magnets, but just for the purpose of the video we're going to use Velcro. So I've already got these matched up, and I'm just going to take them apart and place one here. Now obviously with it being Velcro, you're going to have to support the cardboard whenever you're opening these, because it will just rip the DSP on you. So I'm just going to push that together. For the first couple of times you're going to just have to support that whenever you're taking it out, because the adhesive on the Velcro dots needs to be able to find itself and bond with the paper. Okay, so that is it. So we're going to work on our handle now. So the handle was that little piece of cardstock that was left over from our first cut. So we will do this. Okay, and I'm going to maybe round the corners of this just to make it a bit more tidier looking. And we'll curl it. And then because we've already got our little creases, so you've got this nice curled edging on it now. You can see it just sitting like that, and we will stick it to our bag like that. Okay, so again, a little bit of glue. Okay, so you want, this is obviously, the width of your handle is obviously narrower than this gap here, this inch. So you want your handle to be in the middle that way, and then obviously to have the same distance from the edge as the other side. So you might just need to play about with it, which is good if you use wet glue, because then you have that time to do that. Okay, so happy enough. If I just move that in a little bit more, that's me happy with it now. So you can see there, nice little curved round handle. Obviously I have done mine at 5.5 inches. You could make it a bit smaller and then you wouldn't have such a high loop on it. Then if you want to add just something a little bit extra to make it a bit more interesting, you could add buttons. Okay, so I'm using a 1/2 inch circle punch and 3/8. Yep, 3/8. Okay, so if you have any scrap pieces of paper, this is what you're going to use for it. So I'm going to do one for the front. And then if you've got any of your DSP left, I'm going to do 3 of these just to match the bag itself. And I'm actually going to curl these little ones with my pokey tool. Okay, so use your more bulbous end, and I'm just going to run that over it, and hopefully it'll make these look like they're domed up like buttons or brads. Okay, so you will need some form of foam mat. This is actually one of the inserts out of my block caddy. So I just repurposed it for using it as a piercing mat. For these little tiny ones, you probably need your mini dimensionals. Okay, so you can see that they are raised up, and then putting them onto dimensionals will keep them in that dome shape. Might just make them a little bit fiddly to work with now, but so you can see that they've stayed raised up. Okay, in there. They are quite hard to work with because they're so tiny. Just take your time and be patient. Okay, and then the last one, we'll put it on, well, I've actually put it on this, on a 1/2 inch circle of shaded spruce, and it's just to make it stand out because it's going to go where the enclosure is. So you can see it like that. Wee bit of glue because we're going to stick it flat. And try and find your midway point there. Okay, so that is it, done and dusted. So I have obviously picked that kind of tartan look DSP. You can pick out any of the other DSPs from this suite. It is a very festive suite. The DSPs are absolutely beautiful in it. The suite itself is called Wonder of the Season suite, and you can really just see the colors are very, very traditional. Even the DSP there, you can see, is just red and green and white, and then you've got these little hints of gold as well in with the ribbon combo pack, and then with the Memories and More card packs as well, so it is a very good suite. As I said, I've picked out the tartan, but there is so many other DSPs that you could pick out there. I really do hope that you've liked the tutorial. Now I have listed everything that I've used in the description, and there's also a link there to my online store, which is open 24/7. So if there's anything in there that you would like to order, you can click that link and it'll take you straight through to my online store. And if you have any questions or queries, just get in touch and give me a shout out. That would be great. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye bye.